Hey, I'm Dr. T, and welcome to my desktop. So today I am talking about Going Medieval. This is a base building game, very similar to RimWorld. I can actually say that I've played RimWorld. Well, I've tried to. That game has got a long learning curve to it. But same basic idea, a little bit more restricted learning curve, thankfully. So kind of the same idea. You start out with a small group of settlers. You try and pick the best group, etc. And in this game, you've got a couple of options. This is a medieval setting, so you're building up your medieval fortifications, which, by the way, you need to build up medieval fortifications because there are enemies, and you will get attacked from time to time. And eventually, they'll bring in the trebuchets. Okay, so just kind of a going-ons of what I've got here. I've got my camp over here. This is on the hills terrain. You got three choices: plains, hills, and mountains. Sorry, this is mountains. And so I've built kind of my long house. I'm starting to build this up. It'll get more advanced as the playthrough continues. And so, okay, let's see. We can assign jobs, everyone's skill tree, and this individual is brand new. So they are just arrived. I'm going to go ahead and say, hey, you know what, they need to convalesce. And then, as you can see from the countdown, in a day, I'm going to get attacked. And so I've got some fortifications. We're going to get everyone weapons, and I will fend off that attack. Okay, so I'm going to look kind of like what their skills are. They're pretty good at medicine, actually. They're actually really good compared to my other folks, so I'm going to kick that up to a 2 for 10. Hunting, not great. The star means they're going to learn it quicker. The double star means they're going to learn it much quicker. But once again, that's kind of a low value. Construct at 10. Yeah, going to keep that a little bit low. You don't want too many high priority things. Otherwise, they don't have a priority, and, well, that's a problem. And then just kind of going over here. Botany of 10. Now, the higher the number, the better they're going to do. The less likely they're going to ruin resources. Once again, a botany of 10 is kind of low. So this person, I'm trying to decide what I want to go with them. Animal handling, this is not in the game yet. Eventually, you're going to be able to capture critters and raise them for food and whatnot, but that is not currently in the game, so this literally just does not matter. Mining, digging in the ground. And this is one of the beautiful things I will show you here in a little bit. This is three-dimensional. So you can have multiple stories. You can dig into the ground. You actually need to do that. Which is very helpful. So mining-wise, definitely low. Once again, yeah, this is not a high priority for me. This is interesting. I'm not quite for sure what I want this person to do. Okay, smithing of 0. Yeah, just don't do that. 1 is high, 5 is low, blank is just don't do it. Carpentry. Okay, I like the carpentry is fairly high. And then, sorry, my camera is slightly in the way. Tailoring's reasonably high, but not great. Which tailoring is not something I use particularly a lot. Research, not that high. And so I'm going to go ahead and have them haul a fair amount. Once again, cooking's fairly low. Okay, so I've got some skills set up. I'm going to have the schedule. Typically, you kind of want to spread them out just a little bit. I'm going to put them on the same schedule as I got my cooks on, just to kind of spread things out, give the leisure activities a little bit of a chance. And then let's go into manage. This is where we decide what weapons. And they can do ranged. So I'm going to have them do ranged weapons, especially early mid-game. Those are better to go for. I'm going to say grab whatever headgear you can grab armor you can grab. This is currently force equipped, so they're not going to swap it out, but that's okay. There's summer and winter clothing. Temperature is going to be a big deal for them. And then kind of over here is kind of not quite developed yet. So, yeah, once again, not really a developed area for these guys. I mean, I guess that is developed. Once the attack comes, I'll draft them all, and then we'll do battle kind of thing. Actually, you know what? What is her? Melee's 5, marksman's 5. You know what? I'm just going to say all weapons. I don't know which is going to be best because I've got three archers and I've got 2 melee range fighters, and I mean, to be honest, their stats are kind of on both cases. So we'll see. Okay, So you obviously have roofs, which you can trigger show or don't show. You've got trees, same deal. Now, if you hold down control, you can zoom up and down, and this can show you lower floors. So right now I've got kind of this tower I'm building. It's going to turn into some kind of bedrooms. And yes, there are actual room categorizations for things. That was the wrong button. Let's see if I can remember which one's which. So you can have, say, a bedroom or a workroom, and different activities will get a boost from being in that room. And you get that room by having different items in it. So for instance, the kitchen, which I haven't built yet because I still need to make an oven. You need the butchering table, you need some pottery decorations, and then you need the oven. I'm still climbing the tech tree to get to my oven. Brewing is weird. It doesn't quite fit into any good category. It's kind of odd. Basically, they want food to eat, you cook that, stuff to drink, you brew that. But, as I mentioned earlier, you can go down. So, I've dug a hole and built a cellar, and the temperature is lower underground, makes sense. Food rots quicker at higher temperatures. So, especially in the summer, you want to get and dig down in order to build up your materials. So you can choose mining, and you can, say, hey, go ahead and mine that. Because I'm not going to, but you can. Likewise, you can say, okay, go ahead, let's grab some food. We can highlight some material to go harvest, like those mushrooms over there, or whatever I just clicked. But of course, you can also grow food, and you can set up a zone to grow your crops. Which, to be clear, this is new. This is a recent update. You do need seeds to grow your crops. So you can set them and say, okay, do I want to grow, where's my cabbage field? Do I want to grow my food when that's not a cabbage field. Where's this cabbage field? I got a whole cabbage field. There we are. I'm trying to click on the lines and not actually cook the cabbage. So I can harvest them when they're ripe. I get a lot more food, but I don't get as much seed. Or I can harvest them at other points where I get, say, more seeds. And you can lose seeds. So you don't want to be running it kind of just this one. I learned that on a previous map, which I will show you in a little bit. So you do want to, keep in mind your seeds. If you run out of seeds, you can be up a creek kind of scenario. Okay, I'm just going to let this go ahead so we can get closer to the duel where we get attacked. I can show you combat. Once again, you're gathering food. You can send off hunting parties. Once you get that, you can smoke the meat. That'll last longer. Obviously, you cook the food with the fire pit to start with, and then an oven once you get that. And so, yeah, basic idea. It's nice, and it goes really three-dimensional, and you're really thinking about the three-dimensionality. You're thinking about which trees to chop down because they have different life stages, and with different life stages, you get more wood. And so it really forces you to kind of do sustainable forestry. And once you're building, you have to think about things like windows to keep your folks cool during the summer, braziers in order to keep them warm during the winter, and which building material you want to build out of because of what you have, not to mention things such as insulative value and damage that they can take. Because once again, you are going to get attacked on a somewhat regular basis, which is one of the interesting features of this game. So at this point, it's an interesting game. I like it. I like the kind of motif. It's simpler than RimWorld. I am still trying to get into RimWorld, and I'm really struggling to do that because it's just kind of dense. But I like the complexity. So this one's got a lot of similar ideas. You still need, different needs for people, such as their, religious needs. So you build a shrine. You can build, kind of a chapel with a few augmentations to that shrine in a room. Each one's got their skills. You're kind of focusing. There's a lot of kind of micromanaging, but it's not quite so overwhelming. And once again, you've got a lot of choices, but it's not the just massive set of choices that RimWorld has, which I like. I like having a decent amount of choices, but I don't like being just overwhelmed with choice. One thing I do want to bring up is the research, which this is a novel way of doing this. So you can create a library, or you've got scribing tables, you're building books, and you've got your research tree. but you're not growing towards one, you're writing books. And so in order to unlock a certain item, like say defensive structures, I need a certain number of a certain type of book. I've got chronicles, I've got textbooks and theses, which you unlock greater scribing stations to create them. And once you have enough of them available, then you can unlock the technology. But you have to store them, so you build bookshelves. Which is an interesting idea. I like the tech tree being somewhat different than most. At least I haven't run into this tech tree. Once again, I've only played a little bit of RimWorld. I have not gotten very far in that, just because it is somewhat overwhelming in my mind. Resource-wise, you've got limestone, you've got clay. Clay can be baked into bricks. Limestone can be cut into limestone bricks. Originally, the clay bricks were different than the limestone bricks, you know, the two structures you made with those. But in later versions of games, they're basically interchangeable. You can get salt, which is over here in the pink. This one is going to help you preserve food, and I believe it's used in the making of some medicines. Then you've got iron, which of course is used to make iron, you know, exciting. Flax or barley, which you can use to brew, and then of course flax, which you can use to grow or make into clothing. Although I find you get so much clothing from the dead invaders that you kill that I don't need to make a tailoring station. So it's kind of one of those, like, almost a little bit unbalanced there. And a lot of things you'll find in this game, at least at the medium difficulty levels, are definitely not what I would call hard. Once you get going, then it kind of gets into a nice area. The only real kind of caveat is that once the opponents start bringing trebuchets, not only do you have to defeat them attacking your castle, then you have to go out and kill them so that they stop attacking your castle. Which you'll notice is why you know, I'm upgrading my building to start with to make it take longer for them to take out. Okay, so looks like we're going to get the search party here pretty quick, and okay, they are here to do battle. And I can back off and just surrender her, but this is one of those where people are valuable enough that if someone dies, it's like, nope, I am restarting from my last save. I am not doing this, which is pretty standard for this kind of base building one. People are really valuable. So no, I am going to defend this new person, and then, yeah, we'll move on. Okay, so what do I got? No trebuchets, thankfully. So trebuchets would be bad right now. So I've got a small group of marauders, and they're going to be coming in from this side. Okay, oh boy, which side do I defend? So I kind of built two fortifications here. So it looks like they're probably going up that set of steps. Or they might come up there. We'll see here shortly. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to recruit all of them. And once again, I want to kind of guess which way they're going to go. So this is kind of a flat line. I haven't been attacked from this side yet. Odds are they're probably going to go... This would make the most sense. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take my melee folks, I'm going to have them over here. And then I'm going to put my ranged folks up on top of this particular tower. They've got some, what would those be? They've got some fortifications. I cannot remember. Crenellations, I believe it is. That gives them some degree of protection as they're being attacked. And so these guys are going to come in. They're probably going to try and break a bunch of my stuff. So odds are the smoker and my shrines are going to get toast. But then I'll just be able to rain arrows down on them. And then they'll walk over here and I'll have more people for the meet and greet. So my folks are all getting ready. I'm going to kind of go over here. And then I'll get more information of how they're going to attack here in a moment. My folks ready. They're getting into their places. Okay, this is good. Now, do I need to reposition? Okay. Yep, I called it. Okay, so I'm in a good position. So now I'm just going to let them come up. They're going to attack my smokehouse, which is really inconsiderate of them. And I will say, clicking on people, sometimes selecting the right person, can be quite the inconvenience. This is nice. I'm going to get a small group coming in to start with. Yeah, they're all going up that one stairwell. Which would be interesting. Maybe I should not have built that stairwell there, truth be told. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do. My archers are going to... Ooh, boy, his health has gone down pretty quick. And you know what? Smokehouses are cheap. I don't mind them breaking a few smokehouses. Oh, they're going after my door. That makes sense. And he went around to the back, and they just kind of automatically target. I can, you know, target them directly, but not really necessary. And pretty soon, I'm guessing once one of these guys is toast, then they're going to rout. Yep, and they rout. I'm going to try and off this guy. And I'm just going to take all my settlers and I'm going to say, you know what? Get him. Yay. And at this point, you know, I'm just trying to get their stuff. Okay, so the battle is now over. And so I'm going to just go ahead and go to manage. I'm going to undraft them because, you know, they'll stay drafted and they'll starve to death like usual. I'm going to say, you know what? You can have access to all of this random stuff. They'll start sorting that, putting that into things like weapons rack. If it doesn't get into storage, though, it will rot. So that can get a little bit awkward. Thankfully, I have a decent number of weapons racks. The dead bodies are going to be a problem. Thankfully, I'm starting to build my funerary pyre. I'm putting my corpses over here just kind of to get them out of the way. Because you do lower morale if they've interacted with a, you know, dead corpse. And I don't blame them. My morale would be somewhat lower too if I was, you know, walking past dead bodies. And then they'll go through and repair stuff. So right now, very little damage. It's very easy to defend yourself once you build, you know, some kind of little fortification. You know, over here, this is just a really simple fort that I made. This will eventually go away once this is fully operational, I think. So that you can run in, protect your archers. The trick is to get a few archers in there, kind of hide them, let them pick them off. And that's the whole point of a castle. That's how medieval castles worked. You know, you've got stone fortifications that's going to take this great force multiplier. And it works wonderfully. And that works well for these guys too. Looks like I've got some research available. So I've got some decorative structures. This is actually pretty good. I'm not going to get it just yet. But this is what allows me to unlock certain types of rooms. So these... let's see, the Church of Restoration wall art and the Oakham Brethren wall art. That allows me to make a chapel for each one of those. Increases the amount of benefit people get from the shrines of those types. Tool shelf that allows me to create a workroom, which boosts the production speed of all the producing stuff. Wall pottery shelves, some more basic idea. That's for kitchens. You get the idea. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to save this one. And then I'm going to pull out a different save that I've got. Because I've got a somewhat older one. Let's see if I can... Yeah, I believe this one is. So this one, it's kind of like I did things wrong. So this is a little bit further along. Getting past the load screen. Okay, so in this one, you'll notice I'm noticeably further along. I've switched to the limestone brick that's a little bit sturdier. I've already been attacked by trebuchets. I've got an apple orchard going, which you can plant an apple orchard. But you'll notice my cabbage field is empty. I ran out of cabbage seeds. Between getting attacked and not realizing that I could harvest when going to seed, etc., to increase my cabbage seeds, I am out of cabbage seeds. So I'm actually like out of most of my seeds. I think I've still got barley, so I'm pretty good there. But this is really lowering my food security, which is partially why I recreated it, and partially just I wanted to do the mountains. But on this one, and the reason why I pulled this up is, let's see if I can find someone with a good speechcraft. Not you. Okay, that's 8. Okay, speechcraft of 20. This one has a merchant. So you can send one of your people to go barter with the merchant. This is also relatively new in the edition. And once they do, okay, would you get over there? You can get either a single merchant, you can get a caravan, you can get a variety of things. Then you pull up this screen and you can trade various supplies for whatever you would like. So I still have a fair number of cabbages. They haven't all rotted away yet, and I haven't eaten them yet. So I could sell some of those or my carrots. What I want is seeds, and what he's not selling me is seeds, which is really, really frustrating. So this is kind of the same point-based system you'd expect from a trading one. You're bartering, giving so many of these items and taking so many of those items, etc. What you find is the seedlings, especially early game, are great for trading because they're worth a surprisingly large amount, and you get those from chopping down trees. If you are careful and just like chop down mature trees only, you've got more trees than you know what to do with. They'll replenish themselves. So you can get a lot of seedlings you don't have to worry about, which is great. Also, you can easily go really overboard on red currant. So you get a lot of things to trade, and you can get stuff. What I find, honestly, most of the time is like, I don't have stuff I want to trade. I have stuff that they don't have the things I want to buy. Like, I want seeds, and they don't have seeds. Quite often they will have seeds earlier in the game, but in this case, he just doesn't. So there's actually nothing on his menu that I want at this point. So you can get kind of the idea. Once it looks a little bit larger, you can make a great hall with some, shields and other things. The backgammon sets are there for recreation. I haven't made chapels yet on this one. There's the stove. You can make fancier meals, a basic meal, a fancy meal. Fancy meal, you need herbs. And then you can pickle your vegetables, which uses salt or a preservative in general, which you can either mine salt or you can get vinegar from alcoholic beverages, which is, that's where you get vinegar from. That's why you have, white wine vinegar. It used to be white wine. And you produce that in your breweries. Now, what I have found in a couple other ones, I had one where I had like several outbuildings all kind of interchanged, etc. It does help to get them all kind of streamlined, especially during cold days in the winter. That way they can kind of stay inside more. Also, there are some pathing issues where I've had ones where I've like desperately needed a certain resource. They didn't produce it just because. And there was like everything was set up for them to produce it and they just didn't. And I think it was pathing issues. So I found that kind of one long building works really good, which is kind of weird. But, you get the general idea. Okay, so going medieval. I like it. I definitely enjoy this game. I put a fair amount of time into it. I encourage you to try it out if this is kind of your thing. I really like the three-dimensionality, that you are building 3 levels, and that you do need to think about temperature. The temperature does get a little annoying at times because you have to go through and click every single one of the windows to open or close them, which I really wish it was just like open all, close all. Same goes for the braziers, turn them on, turn them off kind of thing. But otherwise, I like it. If this is kind of your thing, hopefully you like it. So until next time, I'll see you in later videos and have a wonderful day.